Welcome back to the Deep Dive. Today we're cutting through some noise on a really fascinating MLB investigation, trying to get you ahead of the curve on some, well, pretty unexpected developments. We're going deep into the ongoing sports gambling probe, specifically the latest news around Cleveland Guardians closer Emmanuel Clase and his teammate Luis Ortiz. So our mission today isn't just to recap the headlines, right? We want to really unpack how this whole investigation is unfolding, what the details tell us about, sports integrity these days. We'll dig into recent reports to understand what's really going on.
Yeah, and it's significant. These kinds of investigations, they really matter to you, the listener, because they go beyond just the players involved. They give us a unique window, really, into how professional sports are changing, especially with sports betting becoming so integrated, so much a part of the fan experience now. Understanding these finer points gives you a much better handle on the challenges and also the pretty sophisticated ways leagues are trying to protect the game's integrity.
Okay, so let's dive into the big news that just dropped. Emmanuel Clase. I mean, a three-time All-Star, really dominant closer. He's been placed on non-disciplinary paid leave, and this is directly tied to MLB's ongoing sports gambling investigation, the same one that already involved his teammate, Luis Ortiz.
Right. And if you connect the dots, it's interesting that both Clase and Ortiz were given the same leave extension date, August 31st. So that suggests, a clear parallel in how MLB is handling their situations right now, even if the core betting investigation seems really zeroed in on Ortiz.
Yeah, that focus on Ortiz, that's what I find really compelling here, the sheer precision of it. At first, the news was kind of broad, right? But now reports are saying it centers on an incredibly specific level, like just two pitches that Ortiz threw. One was back on June 15th against the Mariners, the other June 27th against the Cardinals. And we're talking about unusual betting activity on prop bets tied to those two specific pitches. Does that kind of granularity, does that change how we should think about, I don't know, potential integrity issues in baseball now?
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. That's precisely the insight here, I think. It shows us that betting irregularities aren't just about, throwing a whole game anymore. Not always. We're in an era where data analytics are so advanced they can flag these tiny micro events within a game. It lets investigators spot potentially subtle, maybe isolated manipulations, and the sources get even more specific, right? Both pitches were sliders thrown against specific batters, Randy Arozarena for the Mariners, Pedro Pages for the Cardinals. That level of detail, down to the pitch type, the batter, it fundamentally changes how leagues can even approach protecting the game.
That's fascinating. So for listeners maybe less familiar, we keep saying prop bets. Can you break that down? Why are prop bets sort of relevant here or maybe more vulnerable in this kind of investigation?
Yeah, that's a great question. So unlike a traditional bet, like who wins the game, prop bets focus on very specific things within the game, often really granular things. Think about will player X hit a home run, or the number of strikeouts a pitcher gets, or like in this case, apparently, maybe the type of pitch thrown in a certain situation, or the outcome of just one single at bat. That specificity makes them, well, uniquely vulnerable if someone has inside information about those specific little moments. It's, arguably much harder to fix an entire game's outcome than it might be to influence one specific isolated event within it.
Right, that makes sense. And the Guardians, the team caught in the middle of this, they put out a statement. They said they don't expect any more players or staff to be impacted and that they'll, quote, respect and fully cooperate with the investigation, which is confidential. Is that a realistic take, do you think, or is it more of a standard hopeful statement you have to make in these situations?
Well, it's typically both, really. That stance of full cooperation, it's pretty standard, but it's also crucial in these high-profile situations. It shows everyone, the league, the fans, that the organization is taking potential integrity issues seriously. But let's be honest, investigations like this, they're inherently unpredictable. Things can change. That non-disciplinary leave part is important, too. It's an early step. It lets MLB's investigators do their work, gather evidence without immediately judging the player or, blowing up the team mid-season. It's all meant to be a very controlled process, keep leaks down, protect the investigation itself, which probably explains why we're not likely to hear much more officially until that August 31st date.
And this whole thing, especially with Clase, I mean, he was seen as a major trade chip before this news hit. It really highlights the ripple effects, doesn't it? It goes way beyond just the players directly involved. So let's kind of pull this together. What does this all mean for you, the listener, trying to stay informed and grasp the bigger picture here?
Okay, so recapping our deep dive today, we've got the parallel situations of Emmanuel Clase and Luis Ortiz, both placed on that non-disciplinary paid leave until August 31st. We've dug into the, frankly, pretty serious nature of this investigation, how it's laser focused on unusual prop betting activity around just two specific pitches thrown by Ortiz, specifically those two sliders on June 15th and June 27th against Randy Arozarena and Pedro Pages. And we know the Guardians are stressing full cooperation.
Yeah, and this specific situation, focusing on betting patterns around just two individual pitches, both sliders, against those specific batter, it really raises a huge question, doesn't it? What does this incredible level of detail, this granularity in an investigation actually imply about the future of integrity in pro sports? Especially, as sports betting gets more and more integrated, more scrutinized, it really makes you wonder what other tiny nuanced details, things maybe you once thought impossible to track or prove, can now be uncovered with these kinds of sophisticated, deep investigations. Kind of makes you think.